Can I do my first memory of you?
Yes.
My first memory was, I can't even remember how many, but 20 at least years ago. I and some other people were thinking about doing a show called Danson Across America, where it was going to be real interviews or real connections with real people, gang members. I would walk in their shoes for a mile or whatever to discover what they're like. And then, without making fun of them, we'd have very funny writers write backwards, meaning shoot the documentary part and then make the mockumentary part around what we got.
Mm-hmm.
I would go across the border with migrants from Mexico, but later we would shoot me arriving in a private jet.
Yes.
All of that kind of stuff. Anyway, we were sitting around a table improvising. We actually had a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker, shooting it. And we were outside, and you just walked in from my vantage point. You just walked in and started improvising immediately. But improvising sounds like you were doing something different. It was just all of a sudden you were there totally participating. And at the end of the evening, I was going, wait, who is that person? Yeah. Tell me your point of view from it.
Terror, nerves, asking, being asked to, okay, so my point of view is I got asked to do the presentation, right? The pilot presentation of this idea that you were putting together. And it was going to just be, it wasn't like a job, but it could maybe become a job.
Right.
And you want to do this. And it's all sort of improv, loosely outlined. So you'll be told the outline of the day and then kind of the role you're going to be playing. And then you'll just improvise it all. And I was terrified because it's you, and you are an icon. I grew up with you, and also hoping if I was good enough and improv-y enough and interesting enough that when this became a TV show or whatever it was going to be, that I would get to be a part of it. For me, it felt like an audition, and then also, it was going to be at your house, which I had never been to a celebrity's house before. I was like,
they are different.
Well, they have gates and there's boxes and buttons. Now we all have that. But at the time, it was really only you.
And were you late or something? Why had we started without you?
Well,
I don't know.
I think that part I don't remember. It could have been that I was meant to arrive. Because was I pretending to be your assistant or something?
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think maybe I was held back.
Oh.
I'm not a late person, so I would imagine that was by design.
I literally did not know you were there,
and all of a sudden
here
you
comes
were there. This person. Yeah. I remember seeing your kitchen, not the current kitchen, but a kitchen of your 20 years ago kitchen. And just being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in their house. I think the only other celebrity house that I was in was I auditioned for a movie that Penny Marshall was directing, and they had the auditions at her house.
Right.
And they had put us all in different rooms. And the room that they put me in Penny Marshall's house, which also had a gate and a button, was covered, and I'm not exaggerating, floor to ceiling on every single surface with Beanie Babies. There wasn't even actually anywhere for me to sit except on the floor, the carpeted floor of this guest room that was so covered in Beanie Babies. I couldn't sit on the bed. There was a bench that was covered in Beanie Babies. The Beanie Babies were all over the bed. The Beanie Babies were hanging from the walls in shoe pockets. They were coming out of drawers that were open to display the Beanie Baby. It was
almost scary.
Right. A little bit is this a hidden camera show?
Right.
Before that was a thing. And then I went to your house and was like, what's gonna be here? But it was just
my memory just was how amazingly nimble you were, and how I had no idea. You just came out, for me, out of left field. And then later we got to work kind of together on The Amateurs. It started off The Moguls with Jeff Bridges.
Yes. What? Why? I thought that was one of the best scripts I've ever read.
Me too. Me too. I don't know why it didn't. I know they had trouble in the first 10 or 15 minutes, supposedly setting it up, but it was one of the funniest.
Honestly, like, and the cast and even the sort of vibe on set making it was so incredible. And I just thought, I thought it was just the most incredible story. And it was so fresh and new and interesting. And then you have like all of you. It was like you, Jeff Bridges. I remember Lauren Graham was in it. Patrick
Joey Pants.
I mean, Joey Pants. Yeah. Like we were shooting in Piru. Do you remember going to that like crazy faraway land? And I remember calling my agent and thinking like, don't they have to pay me to go this far away?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was like location because it was so far. And they're like, nope, it's just on the edge, just on the inside of that line. And I was like, oh.
The story was the town, very small town, and Jeff was kind of the leader of the town in this kind of, bunch of losers kind of way.
I was going to say the word loser, but I'm glad you did.
He feels like the only way for this town to be noticed and find its way is if they make the entire town, everyone in it makes an amateur porn film.
Well, it's about money.
Yeah.
Because the town is like down and out. And his ex-wife, Lauren Graham, is about to marry a guy with money. And his son, and he needs to like make some money, and he gets this whole town involved, and it like revives the whole town. Like the whole town makes this porno.
And one of the first people I went to was you because you worked in a mattress store. So clearly.
That's the best scene where you're like, well, everyone knows girls in mattress stores are slutty. And I would think it was Jeff's character. I was like, you can't just assume that. Like that, why would nobody knows that. And then you come in and ask me and the mattress store owner. I think you asked me. And then I'm like, well, yeah, obviously. Of course I will do porn. Yeah. And you should have like the owner of the store do it with me. And she walks out and she's like super hot. She might actually have been an exotic dancer.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then we have that fun scene where we jump up and down on all the mattresses.
It was the dirtiest, cleanest movie and sweetest, innocent movie.
Good.
But yeah.
Aww.
And then I get to watch you over and over and over and over again, just being so good. You are one of my favorite actors. When you appear on screen, or I know you're in it, I relax because I know I'm in such good hands and you're going to take me someplace and be funny or real or sweet or touching. You're really a good actor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm also really bad at taking compliments.
Yeah, because they go straight to that ego part of your brain, which is a horrible place to be.
I can't believe it.
You are a good actor.
Thank you. Okay. I'm a good actor.
You're a good actor. You really are. How did that start?
Acting?
High school, junior high?
High school-ish. It started in high school because I was actually a ballet dancer. And there was a special arts program in my high school, and they had dance, but my ballet instructor didn't want me to do it because she didn't want me like getting weird advice and teaching, getting taught by, it wasn't like the instructor of the dance program was great, but she just was like, no, don't mess with what we're doing here. And so I didn't, but I also wanted to audition for something in the arts program because I didn't really want to do academics that intensely. So I auditioned for the acting program and I got in. So I did that in high school, like for the last 2 years or something.
While doing regular studying.
Yeah. It wasn't like it was like, or LaGuardia, I guess it is. No, it was a very, very lovely but basic public high school in a suburb of Detroit called Livonia, Michigan. And so I did that. I did the acting bit there. I really liked it. I liked being on stage because I'd been sort of used to being on stage when I was dancing, so it didn't feel too weird to me. But then when it came time to go to college, I didn't really know what I was going to do. And there was an acting program at DePaul University, which I ended up getting into, but it was hard to get into. And this girl from high school was telling me about it. And it was in Chicago. And my parents didn't want me to go farther away than Chicago. But I was like, how far away can I go? Please. Can I go to New York? They were like, no. Can I go to California? No. I'm like, Chicago? They were like, yes. So I was like, okay. So I auditioned. I got into that. That was all acting all the time, which at the time that I auditioned, I had no idea about. I didn't know what a conservatory was. And I remember I got in and I get to school and I'd been watching all these movies where you sign up for your classes in college and there's crowds everywhere. I'm specifically thinking of Rodney Dangerfield's Back to School for some reason. I don't know why. And I'm like, they hand me my classes when I get there, and I'm like, where's the part where I sign up for first of all, where's my academics? Second of all, where do I sign up for my classes? They're like, no, it's a conservatory. This is what you take. And I was like, well, I can't stay here. I'm not going to learn anything. But it was fun, and I didn't leave, and then I just kept staying, and then I just kept staying. And then I got better at it, and I liked it. It was at the time
3 year.
It was 4 years. My parents didn't really care because I was going to get a degree. And they were like, you're getting a bachelor's degree. It's fine. I'm like, but you don't understand. I don't take academics. I'm in a class with the basketball players.
Why were you blowing the whistle on
I
yourself?
know. I know.
I was thrilled to be in a conservatory and not have to do that.
Which, by the way, in high school, I would have loved it. In college, I was like, no, now's the time where I need to learn. And so I was kind of like, well, this is where I'm going to get smarter. And if I'm only taking acting classes, I'm not going to get smarter. But again, I just kept staying. I'd be like, next year I'm going to leave. But I got competitive. So the program I was in, where did you go?
I went to Stanford for 2 years and did nothing.
Oh, well, that makes me feel better.
Fell in love with acting and transferred to Carnegie, which was the good Bachelor of Fine Arts.
That one I found out after the fact. I was like, oh, you go to Carnegie Mellon, you go to Northwestern, obviously NYU, or I guess DePaul. I didn't know. Anyway, ours, we got cut after the first and second year. Did you? Yeah.
It was the old look to the left of you, look to the right of you nonsense. Those people won't be there.
Right. I know. So if you can make it to your third year, you're fine in our program. At the time, they don't do it anymore. So on both years, my first and second year, I was warned that I was going to get cut. And then I just got,
Which gave you a little fuck you.
A little competitive nature, a little fuck you, a little I was kind of dare you, but also thinking great, maybe that's the push I need. Maybe I'm not meant to be here. Maybe I'm not. But the reasoning was often the first year I was told it was because of my Midwestern accent, which
do you still have that, by the way?
Our mutual friend, Ajay Sagal, will tease me about for the rest of my life.
I'm not hearing it, am I, right now? I'm not good at...
I think not, but I mean, it was bad. It was oh my God.
Yeah.
And everything I said ended with a question mark, and they called it you speak with an upglide, and we never really know if you're asking a question or what you're saying, because it's really hard to decipher. And that was how I talked. And also, I'm talking like that, and it's very nasally, and I mean, I get it now, but
it's also funny to make use of it with some characters. It's a very funny dialogue.
But you know what I found when I got to LA? I'm skipping forward a bit, but when I got to LA, what I found was interesting to casting directors here, and I did loads and loads of generals, and I would meet with all the assistants, and then I would meet with the casting directors, was that there was something so Midwestern about me. I mean, there is. That was interesting. Because I was in New York, I was in LA, I was Chicago. And it was this more, I don't know, it was just something that felt at the time lightning in a bottle moment where I came here and I had this thing that was a little bit different. And it was very authentic, to me. It wasn't that was not me.
That was me.
That was not either of our butts.
I'm just, not my butt.
Anyway, I made it through the whole process in school. And once I got to the third year, then I was well, shit, I kind of like this. And now I'm kind of into it. And I always had jobs on the side, and I quit my jobs, and I was I'm going all in with school right now. I'm going to focus on school, and I'm going to be a good actor.
Sorry, I'm bad. DePaul is in Chicago.
No, you're not bad. It is. It's
so you can make use of
yeah.
all of the theater and everything in Chicago at the same time or not?
No, they frowned on that, although everyone did it. But I'm a real rule follower. So we were not allowed to work professionally. So I was like, when I found out some people were like doing like commercials on the side secretly, I was like,
oh, rotten hell.
I am not turning them in, but I could. I could. I was like, how could they do that? How could they do that?
Was this Sandy Meisner-like technique? Because he won't let you work either. Is it?
I think it was. I mean, I don't even remember techniques. I guess it must have been kind of ish. We had this teacher, she's passed away, but her name was Bella Itkin. Oh, Uta Hagen. She loved Uta Hagen. And we had that book, the Uta Hagen book.
Right.
But I don't remember. I've since used an acting coach that I love. And I think Meisner is something that comes up. But Uta Hagen. Do you
still use acting coaches when you get a part?
Yeah, I do. Not every role, but sometimes I do. I am about to compare myself to an Olympic athlete. At first, I was embarrassed about it for some reason. I thought that it was like a secret. And then I was reminding myself that like Olympic athletes have like lots of coaches for one thing, and that's how you get better is by working with people. And the thing about acting is that you don't always get to act every day. Like you don't always get your 10,000 hours in. So like preparing and showing someone something who is coming to it without anything, should I have the luxury of being able to sit down with a director before we start a project and actually go through things
and then rehearse 2 weeks?
By the way, never happens. Like you're still getting like all the noise that the director has about the project. Like going to someone, a coach, going to someone who doesn't know anything about the project and they're just like looking at a scene floating in the ether and like seeing that scene for something that like I can't see, a different version, a different way in, a different choice. It's really incredible. And I think it helps a lot on set, especially these days. Like you said, there's no rehearsal. You're so rushed all the time, I feel like. A great director never makes you feel rushed, but that's hard to do. To like come...
Because they are rushed.
They are so rushed. And especially, sometimes, man, you'll spend like all day shooting like one weird special effect. And then you have like a really poignant like character arc scene with another person. And they're like, I think we got it. Let's move on. And you're like, wait.
That was really good. Lunch.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. I think we got it. I don't think we even need to come back after lunch. Huh?
No.
But okay. Yeah. Like it's so bizarre.
I had an acting coach once.
Only once?
I went back to him a lot. This was in New York. And it was very strange because we were about to shoot Damages. Mm-hmm. And the writers, who were absolutely amazing writers, came up to me the week before. And we had gathered for 2 weeks in New York before we started shooting and said, would you mind this was after reading and rehearsing, going to our acting coach. He's really wonderful. Glenn Close goes to him and they tried to make it not sound like what I was just hearing, which is, whoa, you need some help. And I went and it was the best thing I've ever done.
But at the moment, I would have died if someone...
I died, but then I swallowed it and went, this is too good to be stupid.
Yeah.
I walked in and he said, do you have a page from the script or something, anything, just read. And I read and he stopped me after a page and went, okay. And I was playing a kind of a sociopath billionaire. But he said, okay, now I know that you're that was very good, really nice actor. Meaning when you start, I know you're going to go all the way through and finish that paragraph for me. And I know you are. And it was good and all that, but you're a really nice actor. You need to take that kind of billionaire, fuck you, I'll do what I want point of view and treat the material with, irreverence so that, here's my first line. And you know what? Fuck you. I may or may not say my next line, not literally, because, you might get fired.
Yeah, right.
But he instilled that irreverence because I found that, sorry, is this your podcast or mine? I can't remember.
Yours.
I'm very jet-lagged.
To
I'm
hear
sorry.
the rest of this.
Okay, my little thing is when you do half hour, it is like a musical. There is music. There is a rhythm. And you got to stick to it. You have to make all little bends and twists and turns to the rhythm. There's a metronome going.
Yeah.
You can't stop and be
and when you say
indulgent
half
in a
hour,
good way.
you're talking about
comedy and
yes.
3-camera comedy in front of an audience.
Because now half hour.
I know. Now it's a film, which is great. And I love it.
But yes, agreed.
So I became a nice actor.
Yeah.
I kept to the rhythm.
Right.
And he really helped break that. I love acting coaches. I wish I could go back to school, but it'd be weird and kind of false. But I do love that.
That is kind of how I found my way to her, to this woman, because I wanted to go back to class. And I was working so much I couldn't. Like I just couldn't. I mean, God bless, thank God, all that. But like I would pay for a class. I would pay for the month of class, and then I would never go.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I knew people worked with coaches, had heard it before, but I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know even where to start. And then like, I was like, I need to get back into class. I want to grow. Like, I want to get better. I want to be a better actor. And I couldn't go to the classes. And I was like, I was kind of starting to just say it out loud to people at work. And I remember I was shooting Jurassic World. And I don't remember how it came up, but Bryce Dallas Howard, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't out her. But anyway, she was telling me.
She's wonderful.
She's the best. But she was like, oh, you should, call this woman. And then another person was like, oh, have you ever heard of this woman? And then a third person was saying like, oh, you should talk to this person. And it was all the same woman. And I was like, to have 3 people tell me the same name.
Right.
I was like, okay, this is God or universe, whatever, telling me to like call this woman. So I called her and we had this like great talk on the phone. And she was like, what do you want? Like, why do you want to work with me? And I said, I just like want to be a better actor. Like I act a lot, I work a lot, but my roles like I don't always get like a big juicy hunk, So I'm not like getting better always at work. Sometimes I'm like walking into a room and being like, who threw out my leftovers? You look sad. What happened? Is your dad still out of town? Like I'm exposition sometimes. So I'm like, how can I get to that next level? How can I get better? Or how can I take what I'm getting, which is already great, and just like make a little bit like more something of it, Yep. That's what I think a great coach does. And they do see things like, they see us differently too.
I think also, if you're not just repeating yourself because the last thing you did worked and was successful or whatever, that you do have to start. I think this is true, should be true about all creative processes, starting at 0.
Each time?
Not knowing each time. And that's scary to do. And I think having a coach or somebody in your corner going, no. Don't know.
Yeah.
It's good. I remember one of the first things I went, oh, dear Lord, Judy, was Mel Gibson. Sorry, What Women Want.
What Women Want.
That was such a wonderful performance.
Thank you.
It was really good.
I loved her. I loved Erin, the file clerk.
Woman on the verge of a nervous breakdown kind of part, but sweet and funny.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
I auditioned for every role in that movie, I think, besides the one that Helen Hunt played. I auditioned several times for the role that I got. I felt like really lucky to get that role, to be a part of that project. And I felt, because I was still sort of new and starting out, like a real outsider on set. And I'm always so pleasantly surprised when the reality mimics the the art in a way where I don't have to do that much. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was still learning how to be in movies. I was still learning all the crap about light and bananas and all this stuff. I'll never forget a camera operator telling me like, hey, can you just like banana to your mark? And I was like, yes. And then I walked like straight to my mark. And if you're listening, a banana is where, because camera lenses are weird, a banana means like instead of walking from like point A to point B, you walk to point B like a banana. You kind of like curve it. Yeah. And it's such a silly thing. But at the time, he's like, hey, can you just banana to your mark? And I'm like, yeah. And not asking like, what the fuck is a banana? Like, what are you saying? Because I was like, from the theater.
I feel like a banana.
Yes. I'm like, okay, like be little. Anyway, so I walked to my mark straight and he's like, yeah, so how about like just for the next take, if you could just like do a little banana to your mark? And I'm like, okay, dude, I don't know what a banana is. I thought maybe I could fake it, but he's like, okay, right. So it's this. And he told me and he was so sweet. But that was
usually you're blocking something perhaps in the background that they want to see or something.
Or
so
like the way the camera angle is. I still don't know. But if they tell me to banana, I know what to do now. But at the time I didn't. And so all of this is leading to me feeling like I don't know what I'm doing, which is how this girl feels, which is like the best thing I can do is just try to find some reality to the situation to bring.
But that's so smart.
Yeah. And this poor girl who I fell in love with. And I've always kind of thought, because it was early in my career, I've always wondered, like, sometimes I play a role and I'm like, oh, this is Erin now. Like, this is her now. Like, she's a part of me, I think, forever for some reason, because it was such an important moment in my career, but also in my life. I had the first day of work, I did my big scene at the end with Mel. That was my first day.
Wow.
And I got all this street cred with the crew after that. But the whole rest of the movie, I don't have a line.
Because it was a long, big scene and it was good and emotional and all that.
And it was like, I showed up, nobody knew who I was. We shot it for, I think, 2 days at a frat house, like on the campus of USC or just off campus. I'll never forget, because Nancy Meyer's Video Village was like set up in a bedroom, and like next to her chair was like a bunk bed filled with dirty clothes. It was like a fraternity's. It was just like so bizarre to see her, because she's like so classy and cool, and she's like sitting next to like a fraternity bed. Anyway, so it was like great because while I was like, I can't believe I have to do these like first, this huge scene. It's like the first thing I'm going to do. But I realized after the fact, it was great, because instead of just basically being like a background artist who was falling down the stairs for the entire movie, like I got to show up and act. Yeah. And then for the rest of the movie, when I was background falling down the stairs, like people were nicer to me, which wasn't always the case.
I've heard you do other podcasts. I was listening this morning, so I don't want to jump around too much. But your ability, you were talking about, being able to be uncomfortable without medicating with a drink or something.
Yeah.
But that's in acting. It's a little bit that way too. This is what's going on with me today. Yeah. I am depressed and terrified. Yeah. Use it.
This is what you're getting.
That's all you've got to use.
Yeah. I've never really subscribed to like changing myself. Like,
but why? That's awfully smart, and sometimes takes me a long time to get to.
I think it's like it feels like cheating sometimes. But I think that like what's the most important thing I can do is be honest. And so if I'm honestly exhausted and cranky, or I'm honestly in like one of the best moods I've ever been in a scene where I have to kill someone, like that's fun too. Like that's, I just would rather use that than try to like squash down what's really happening to find some like fake feeling. I don't know, but like once music became digital, I think it just changed the game for me, because I can listen to a song and be just like so immediately put in a mood. But what I've learned, and when I ask directors sometimes, like, hey, can you send me a playlist of like what you're thinking of, like for tone and mood and songs for the movie or TV show? And they're like, yeah, totally. And I'll listen. I'll be like, oh, no, this isn't. Like, I'll just have songs for each scene that aren't really what I think they are thinking, but for me, help me get
Right.
Or like if I am in a good mood and I have to be in a bad mood, like maybe there's a song that can just like instantly take me there. But there's always a good energy to being a happy person. And I've always been I'm curious about like, do you have to be crazy to be a true artist? I've been asking myself this since
I hate that question. I had
theater
it posed.
School.
Yeah.
And I think like I always wonder, and I don't totally know the answer, but I'd like the answer to be no, because I'm not crazy and I'd like to be a good artist. But I think that like, trying to, when you talk about method, right? Like staying up for days because you are playing a junkie who can't sleep, or like all of those things. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I don't want it to be that you have to be crazy or you have to be on a substance in order to like dig into something that's real or diggy or even funny or dark or anything like that. But I struggle with that topic a lot in my brain.
I was told by, I think it's okay to mention Joel Schumacher. He's passed, and he was, I think, a wonderful director. But we were just having a conversation, and he said, "You can't be an artist with more middle class mores."
Well,
I am so middle class.
So middle class.
I was told if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. I was not trained to be a rebel.
Me neither. I like rules. I like structure. I'm probably not
be
cut
kind.
out. Yes.
All that stuff.
It's nice to be nice. There's stickers of that all over the Minneapolis airport. And I was like, oh, I want that on a pillow. Hidden, but I do want it. But I know, that's so interesting he said that. But I think that there is like a people-pleasing sort of martyry version of a me that is what he's talking about. And he might say it's middle class, or I think Midwest, or just mid basic.
Yeah.
That I think like his version of it is what I'm thinking of when I'm not like being authentic to myself, which is a term I think is overused, especially now. But like when I'm not really, when I'm trying to be like too people pleasing.
Yeah,
is when I know that I.
Me too. Yeah. My tendency is to tilt way too far forward in life.
Even something as small as like, where's your chair on set? Like when you walk off the set and you have to sit down while they're changing a lens or a light or something, like, are you like, hey, how are you? Oh, hi. What'd you do last night? Or like, do you know, like, I'm like, I have a really diggy scene today. I need to be alone in the corner. Like, I need my chair to be away from everybody. I need to be by myself, or I need to go back to my trailer so I'm not like, hi, oh my God, I love your blouse. Did your kid win their soccer game yesterday that you left early to go to?
Yeah.
Like, that's not gonna, I mean, in that sense, I think I agree with him.
I was trained to be nice by my mom. I was very, but I didn't have a choice. I had to be nice, kind, sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still learning to discover that I'm a dick, that I can be mean as hell, that I can be petty, and all those things. And when Mary calls me on one of those moments, I'm always, that's the only time we fight is when I'm wrong about being a dick. Because and I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
So I will fight to the death.
That's not who I am.
Be the who. Yeah. And as soon as I go, oh, yeah, that was mean.
Right.
Yeah, I am mean. Or that. First off, it's very relaxing. But then you have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to be nice and kind because of your upbringing or your whatever. And I think that's maybe what he was talking about, because it's great to be nice and kind, but I think you need to know both sides of that middle line in life. You need to know that you're fully human. Mm-hmm. And you are as petty and mean and jealous somewhere, or full of anger or stuff, so that if you know it, then you can choose it. Then it's a much more important kindness, I find, for myself.
To choose to be kind rather than to have it be your...
knee jerk.
Yes. And what is behind wanting to be nice and kind? Because I think wanting to be nice and kind, when I'm genuinely like, when I'm not, if I'm doing it because I just want to, because it's just coming naturally, or is it from the point of view for me of wanting to be liked, then it's fake.
I have a problem with that because I do it, because fake is a go-to for me. Not really, that's harsh. But if you do something, if you, this is my favorite kind of example, the barista gives you your cup of coffee and you're going to give him a celebrity tip, but you wait until he's looking. If he's turned around, you don't just slip it in, you wait.
Right.
Okay, but he got a good tip. You were doing it clearly for yourself.
Yes.
So at best or
celebrity
worst.
tip is fully what I'm taking away from today.
What's that?
Whatever I was going to take away from that you said earlier that was awesome, it's now celebrity tip.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be giving a celebrity tip. I know. I have to give a celebrity tip, so I'll just do the tip.
But if you ask the fellow, he doesn't care.
He doesn't give a shit. If you're tipping him $5 on a $2 coffee, he's like, great.
Yeah.
Great if I see it or not.
So you can do things for other people and have it be kind of iffy, your motivation.
Yes.
But it's still better than
not
doing something good.
For
in the
sure.
world.
Smiling at someone is always preferable.
And it makes you feel better. So are you doing it for yourself? I would say yes. I like being happy. My body feels better if I'm happy.
Those two things can be true. Like you can be doing it to make someone happy, to make someone like you, see you, like accept you, take you in, and you can also just be doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Thank you, Judy. Because I've been wrestling with this.
You have not. The celebrity tip is so good. I have a friend who, for years, I don't allow it anymore. He would wait till we would split the bill, and he would wait until I filled out mine, and then he would leave fucking more than me, and I'd be like, God damn it! And he would do it every time. And even just last week, we went to dinner and we both had our pens and I went, after you. And he was like he's nodding his head. Yeah, I know. Okay, you got me.
I've done one worse where there is some degree of truth that celebrities are expected to tip more.
I mean, I can't even imagine you at a bar with a bartender.
I don't do that. Ironically, I never did. But boy, that's my hellhole. But I have been so bad as to go out with people who either aren't aware of the celebrity tip part, but they insist on picking up the tip. And as we get up to leave, I'll put some cash down for a little bigger tip. Yeah. That's worse. That's bad.
Is it? Isn't it what we're talking about? Like, isn't it just like, I'll never forget. I probably shouldn't say who it was. I was in college. I was waiting tables while I was in college, and I waited on
George Wendt. No.
You know it. No, I'm just kidding. I waited on two super duper crazy, insane, famous athletes at the time, and it was a full, straight down the middle, 20% tip. And it was like they were so famous that my manager at work took all my tables away and I just waited on them for the night.
Wow.
And they ordered...
We're talking basketball.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
We're talking Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
One round of drinks, like shared, like a basic bitch dinner. Like them, their wives, they all got like one drink and they shared two salads and they got one entree and they left and I got a 20% tip, which by the way is okay. But it was like, I had no other tables that night.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, man. Like, and also I wasn't like, I was very cool. I didn't bug them. I just, I didn't even talk to them. Maybe I was not being a great waiter, but I just, the way it was going, it felt like they were really on a double date, like two total norms. And I wasn't going to be like, are you guys loving your tagliata? How's it going? How are those Caesars? Like, I'm not going to do that ever, but to them.
Mary was a waitress in New York for 7 years while she was going to school, and then later before she started working as an actor. When she met me, if I'd been a shitty tipper, I would not have stood a chance with her.
I mean, I know people say this, but I believe it that everyone should wait tables for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be in the weeds, and you have to have you just have to.
Yeah.
I got a table out of a restaurant once, asking them because they didn't leave me a tip. And I'd been working at this restaurant for long enough at this point that I had I was pretty confident, and I followed them out of the restaurant, and I was like, "Excuse me, was there a problem with the service? Just curious.
Fantastic.
I just want to know if I could do anything to improve because you didn't leave me a tip." Yeah. And I'm just wondering. And they were like, yeah. They just turned and walked away.
Good for you.
I felt really good about that, though. They didn't, come back and give me any money, but it's like, I saw what you did.
Yeah.
You think we don't know? If you can't afford to eat here, don't.
I won't say who, but Mary waited tables on somebody who left her 10%. It was like a dime or, a quarter on a $3 bill or whatever.
Yeah.
And he went on to become a famous talk show host and had her on the show. And
did she?
She told him exactly what he ordered and exactly how much the bill was and how much he paid.
Oh my God. I love her even more.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was possible to have more love for her. Yeah.
Have you worked with her? She's the best.
It seems like we should have, but I don't think so. I know I auditioned for a movie that she was in, and I obviously didn't get the role, but I can't remember if we've actually worked together or not. I've just been circling you two for so long.
I auditioned for a part in a movie. She didn't get it either. Thank God, because I was a hot mess at the time.
Now you have the best role in her life ever.
My favorite waitress story for her is she walked by a table and some guy who was sitting down, brushed her kind of ass as she walked by. And she went, "Was that?" "Yeah, it was, but came back and he did it more obviously."
Customer, worker?
Customer.
Okay.
And she grabbed a pot of coffee and said, if I walk by and he does it again. And he did. And she poured the entire thing of coffee. It wasn't scalding hot, she's quick to add, in his lap. And he leapt up, and I don't know what would have happened, but the bartender was her buddy and leapt across the bar, grabbed the guy by the scruff of the neck and threw him out into the street. I love that.
I love that
Waitress come up in stories are kind of my favorite.
Oh my gosh. That's really good. That used to happen a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
how long did you wait tables?
I did it in high school at a mall restaurant, this place called Olga's Kitchen, which was a take on Greek food in high school. So that would have been junior, senior year. And then in college, I did it for on and off all through college. But I was a waitress. I was a cocktail server. I was a bartender at a nightclub. I worked at a coffee shop. There were these 4 guys when I was working at this coffee shop once. There were these 4 guys that came in all day, every day, because they were studying for the bar. And I was so invested. And they never came back. And I never knew if they passed it. I was like, you guys have to come back. And they're like, oh my God, we totally will. And they didn't. And I still to this day, I'm like, I wonder if those assholes passed the bar. I wonder if they're attorneys in Illinois now.
Or sitting on the Supreme Court or something horrible.
Dear God. I never even thought about that. But, I was like, that was a lot of coffee I was serving them. And when you're, at a diner coffee shop,
you get refills.
It's like poo covered in pee, what you make.
Yeah.
Poo covered in pee. I mean, it's like free refills on coffee. And these guys have just put themselves through law school and they sit there all day in the good table.
Yeah.
I'm like, but they're going to be really fancy lawyers. They're going to come back here and they're going to tip me and they're going to remember me, and they never did.
Let me pull you from your waitress past and
you.
plop you down in the middle of stick. No,
Oh,
stick.
yeah.
Yeah, singular. You were.
One stick. Oh,
I loved it.
isn't it great?
It is wonderful. It's a wonderful story. Everybody is so good.
I love it.
But you really, here, I'm going to mess you up again, but it was so, you had so much gravitas. And then when you come back around and you think maybe you guys will get back to it, you were so beautiful and so wise, and you had this, I don't know what.
Thank you.
It was really lovely.
I love that show.
Yeah, Owen must be a dream to work with.
He is amazing. We have also kind of been circling each other for a really long time. Like, timing didn't work out, or I don't know, things like past projects. Although I reminded him we did work together technically on a film called Marmaduke, where he voiced the dog Marmaduke, and I was the live action human. I was Marmaduke's mom. We did not meet. Anyway, yeah, we have been kind of almost worked together so many times, Owen and I. So when I finally got cast in this with him, it was funny. I'm always nervous before I start. I mean, I'm generally nervous anyway, but like the first day of work with him just felt like I'd known him forever. We just clicked right away, and the scenes were really good. So well written. There was so much compassion in like the dialogue, I felt like, between these two people. I think that what tore them apart, what causes them to split up, was never a lack of, it was never a lack of love for each other. You know, it wasn't infidelity. And I think that is something that is important to understand, like why they can still be so connected and why they can have so much love for each other, because they just dealt with the grief in very different ways, and so it just was really fun to do. And I love him, and everything that comes out of his mouth is so honest and so not what I think of when I read a scene. Like, he just brings something so special. Yeah. And I think the role is so good for him. And honestly, like, it's really fun to be in a show that people actually watch and really love. Like,
was it Netflix? I can't remember.
Apple. Yeah.
Streaming is something else. When something gets dropped like they do on streaming, and the world all of a sudden sees it. Yeah. Pretty amazing.
And I feel very lucky that I got to be a part of it, and we're doing a second season.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm so excited. I know. I'm excited to see what these people do now. I think it was a little bit, teed up that maybe he might want to try golfing again. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I don't know anything about the new season. Jason Keller, who created the show, is a friend of mine. I've known him for years, actually, socially. And he wrote Ford versus Ferrari, and he's such a talented, fantastic. I know, he's such a great screenwriter. And he was sort of talking to us socially, just like, I've got this idea about like a golf pro who's not. And we're like, oh, cool, whatever, awesome. And then it's just like, seeing your friends do something and have so much success and do it so well. Like, it's just really exciting.
You are a stepmom.
I am. So are you.
I'm a stepdad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different path.
Yes.
And can not tricky bad, but like, I think early on, both Mary and I realized, because I had 2 kids and she had 2 kids, and we actually included it in our wedding vows. We realized we needed to say a vow to them, which was basically, promise to be the best friend I can be to you for the rest of your life, because you're not their parent.
No.
You're not their mom and dad or whatever.
No, and sometimes they remind you of that.
Yes. Yes, it can be thankless. But if you realize, all right, I'm your cheerleader is what I am.
Yeah.
And
I had a therapist, a different one that I love therapy, by the way, a different one than I see now. But at the time, my therapist said, She was like, step parenting is hard because you have all the responsibility with none of the authority.
Yes.
And when she put that into words, it became very crystal clear what my job was. Like, I was like, oh, I'm just here to, like be a good, I don't know, like an aunt, like a godparent, in my particular situation, step parenting is, every situation is so specific. Mine was really easy and good. And
ours was too.
I have no complaints. And there was never, there was a couple times where I was like, oh, right. Yeah, no, I'm not your mom. But mostly it was like me telling my husband I needed to tell them something. And he'd be like, oh, like
your husband, your mate is definitely in the middle.
Yeah. And he would just be like, oh, I'm like, they need chores. And he's like, well, tell them to have chores. And I'm like, that's unfair.
No.
It's unfair for me to have to tell them they have to have chores. And he'd be like, oh man. I'm like, I think it's interesting that he has a test tomorrow, but you're still having the pitching coach come and work on his pitching for baseball, but not a tutor helping him with his test. He'd be like, oh.
How old were you? No. How old were they when you came into
okay. I could also tell. They were 9 and 12. Because I remember... Yeah, he was.
That's pretty close to what we were too.
Yeah, it was actually great. And truthfully, I didn't have a baby, but I was planning on it, kind of. I was like, yeah, obviously I'm going to have a kid. And then really, it's not because I could see the story going they were so terrible, I didn't want to have a kid, but they were so great that I was like, why would I ruin all this? This is so good. Everything is
and your hands
good.
Are full. It's not
I was busy. I didn't slow down my work at all. So it was I was all of a sudden, I went from being maybe I'll stay a couple extra days on location and do a thing to get me on the first plane out. I have to get to Thousand Oaks because Emily has a soccer game. Lucas has a baseball tournament. There was I went from I always say I went from having the basket in the supermarket to having the big cart overnight where I'm what do you feed these humans? What do they eat? You have to cook them food
Costco all of a sudden
the
made
time.
Sense.
I know. I was holy shit. It was a crash course.
I always think that mothers who work, it's probably true of mothers who work in any job, but as an actor, you love your work. Mm-hmm. Mary loves her work, loves her children.
Mm-hmm.
This when they were, especially when they were young, and she would feel guilty about leaving, and she told her young, 4-year-old Lily, because she was feeling guilty about to get on a plane, saying, I have this job. I love being your mom so much. And I love my job as an actor. And sometimes my job makes me go away. And I hope you someday have this speech went on for about 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, boy.
So I hope you, and Lily soaks it in and says, well, picking my nose, that's my job. And Mary went, okay. All right.
Perhaps
she
we'll
does
have
not need this speech.
Same conversation again in a few years. Oh my God.
It's hard I think it's easier being a father, just because it shouldn't be, but there is this sense of, oh, this is what we do.
The man has to
the man
go.
goes out
and I know. And we're still screwed for wanting it all or for thinking we can do it all. Or I know that the trend is definitely shifting. I know of several stay-at-home dads.
Yep.
And I love that. But yes, I think I felt very much if I had a baby that I would have to really slow down my work. And I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure I could or would want to or be able to raise a baby the way I would have wanted to, working as much as I wanted to. And I love working. Now, had I not had stepkids, that would be different. But it was I met these beautiful humans. And so I got to have all of it.
Right.
I got to have the kids, and we all have such a great relationship, and I'm so lucky, and they're so great, and we're all so close. And even their mom, it all worked out really, really well. But I don't know. I just didn't really know if I wanted to rock the boat.
Yeah.
With one But who knows? It doesn't matter anymore. I don't even think about it anymore. But I was like, can I? And my mom was a working mom, and I'm an only child, and she was working a lot. She had a really big career. And
hospital administrator.
Yeah, yes. So, like, without being like, I didn't want to leave my kid as much as she left me. That was kind of what I was thinking. I could say that because I don't think she knows how to listen to a podcast. I'm always like, Mom, listen to podcasts when you take your walk. Did I sound so Midwestern? Mom, listen to a podcast when you take your walk. I don't know how to do that. I'm like, okay. But yeah, I was always like, oh, I wish that she would have been around more,
Yeah.
By the way, because I'm a victim of it too. I didn't really wish my dad would have been around more, even though I have a great relationship with both of them. It just was like, oh, I wish my mom was home.
I think all of my activist-like stuff that I do, especially the ocean advocacy, is because I wanted my father to go, oh, I see. You're an actor, but you're hanging around with scientists. And I really think that was a big impetus.
Yeah.
How are you with what's going on in the world? How do you handle your
I just want to stay in this dark room.
Or Denmark.
Oh,
we just came back from Denmark.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Was it magical?
Magical. It's 8.5 million people. So I imagine we could scrabble together 8.5 million people here and have the same kind of thing. But
it would
it's very
be
sweet
ruined.
and
We
gentle
would ruin
and kind.
it. Yeah. But also, like, they're very direct, aren't they? Aren't they like a direct people? Like, there's a directness to sort of this Scandinavian culture that I really like. Like there's
even there, I find like their design, because everything is about the food now and design, but design is functional.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
Yes,
but it's for a function,
right?
So it has that simplicity, which kind of is what you're saying too.
That's kind of what I like about about the people I've met from there, but I've never been. But also, it just looks really peaceful and calming and beautiful, unlike here. Which how does my heart feel? It's such a kind of beautiful question. It just depends on how I allow it to feel. Like I think I've gotten involved with an organization called International Medical Corps, which has helped me a lot feel like I'm doing something, something more than just like sending checks like willy-nilly to who reaches out. And it was something, I met this organization when I was shooting in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, and they were there helping. And so I kind of got involved with them on my days off, and I just kept up with them, and I've done trips with them. We just went to Ukraine in May.
Wow, what was that like? I mean, stupid question, but what was that like?
It's beautiful. It was, again, the people were so filled with hope, the people I was around. And again, I'm seeing a certain section of it, but the people they have so much pride and they are so hopeful and resilient. And what was explained to us very early on in our trip was that if a building is blown up, like they'll have it cleaned up like immediately. And that's something that was happening in Kiev that is because they are so proud, and they're like so proud of their city, their communities. It's like they don't, yes, you'll see a building that has been reduced to rubble, but they will clean it up and get it sort of get all of the rubble moved away as soon as possible, because it's like, we don't even want to look at that. Like, probably not explaining it well, but
no, you are.
That was something to me that was very telling, that they have the ability to do that, and that is a priority during this war, is to like keep everything moving and functioning as well as possible. The underground train stations are where a lot of people shelter when they have to. And so that becomes like a bit of a community. There's the men aren't allowed to leave the country at all. So when we were traveling to and from, we were going through Poland, and it was just all women and children on the trains and crossing the border. And like Ukrainian men, the men that we were with are, because they're not Ukrainian, to be specific, because they all have to fight. They fight in shifts, and they're all expected to, if you're healthy, to do your part. We visited clinics, because a lot of what International Medical Corps does, they do obviously like medicine, but they're really super focused on mental health. And so they're really focused. When I went with them to Jordan, I was visiting a Syrian refugee camp that even now still has 60,000 Syrian refugees living in it. And so much of their focus, after doing sort of the like triage of what's going on and getting people there and getting people settled, is like leaving them with the mental health, the facilities, the clinics, the people, the staff, to try to get people like medication they might need, therapy, like classes, clinics on how to deal with PTSD and trauma. And that is something beyond like frontline medicine we forget about, that like when organizations leave, the people are still there, and they are affected by this, obviously, but like when you're there and you see it, like they need help. They need help with their brains. They need help learning how to cope with what their life is now and what they've lost and what the future might bring. And then add on to it people who already have mental health struggles, who like already have things that they're dealing with that have nothing to do with what they're seeing and what they're living through right now, and they're not getting the help that they need. So it does sort of multiply. So seeing these clinics and these places where like International Medical Corps is like getting drugs there, they're training local staff. That's another thing that I was really impressed by, was that they train all the locals so that they can leave, and that the people, it's not like we're just leaving and we're like, well, good luck. Like they're training everyone so that when their people do have to leave, or funding is cut. That's a fun thing, that at least that they've trained like local therapists and doctors and clinicians to carry on, because we're not able to do it as here. We can't do it forever. All these organizations, whichever organization you're involved with or interested in, like we're all losing money. The funding is getting cut, and so it's even doubly important to train local people when you're there.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to talk about that.
No, you are, actually.
Okay, good.
You are. I mean, from my point of view, I love hearing that from you. And because there's something about this time, which is, social media, mainstream media, my side, their side. Yeah. Everybody is dealing in fear and anger. Right. And part of that is because that's how news work. Part of it is because it's true. There's a lot of sadness and suffering. But I have grandchildren. And when I let myself dip into hopelessness, then it's a bit of a shame on me, because there are so many things that you can either do to bring joy or healing out in the world, and hope. Making people laugh is also a way to bring hope to people. Look what Bob Hope did. He put himself in the middle of wars to make people forget their fears and feel a sense of community. And that's something that when we do it right in our business, we do put out hope and joy and a sense of community. So to dip into hopelessness, which I can do daily, is not right.
It's not. And we have been, for whatever reason, given a somewhat of an opportunity, and I hate this word now, but platform for it, because we can get a voice out there.
Yeah.
But I think I wish I could remember where I read it, but I remember almost nothing these days. It's super fun. About like starting, like if you want to help and you don't know what to do and you don't have money maybe to send a check, to like, you can always just start on your block, start in your building, and then like kind of just let it see what happens, like see how it expands from there. Like, is there someone in your block that might need something? Like, is there garbage on your streets that you could pick up one day? Like, can you take a garbage? Do you ever, like, I know David Sedaris, I love his books and I love to listen to them because he reads them, but he talks about like doing his trash walks and just picking up garbage on the side of the road when he does his walk. And it's like, someone will see him doing that and not know who he is. Just see a man on a walk, like picking up garbage, you know, and like that is inspiring.
Yep.
Just that little thing.
Yep.
And it doesn't really cost anything. You should be out walking anyway. I don't know. That's a thing you can do that isn't necessarily like going to Ukraine, but in your little tiny world, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that's really important to put out, that it's each one of us trying to be just a little bit better.
Yeah. A tiny little thing you can do.
Yeah. I really love seeing you again. I so admire you. I hope you get that as an actor. You really are brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And fun talking to you.
Likewise.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Where Everybody Knows Your Name, sponsored by Nature's Bounty.